Center. All right. What am I hitting?
Just the floor.
Just the floor. It's like something's going on here. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our live stream. It is Thanksgiving week.
2 days away.
2 days away. You ready?
Kids are excited.
You ready? We're having a funeral for a turkey this year.
Yeah. Nice funeral for a turkey.
Nice funeral for a turkey.
A two.
A two.
Yeah. 2 turkeys.
2 turkeys. Funeral for 2 turkeys. Yeah. If you haven't heard, our pet turkeys died, and we're going to be cooking them.
That's one way to put it. They were not our pets.
No, it's one of those things that, people in some states, they still have all the lockdowns. So they can only have like 10 people or something. I mean, we're in Texas, not here.
Yeah.
But in other places, and they said only like 10 people or something per. And so a lot of people are like, well, I'm not having a Thanksgiving Day meal. You know,
yeah, we're not having Thanksgiving. We're having a funeral for our pet turkey.
Yeah, it's a funeral for our pet turkey.
Yeah, so if you're in New York, it doesn't count out.
Welcome, Fishing with Connor. Yeah, let us know if you're here. Let us know in the live chat if you're here, and there's some of you are joining us, and we're going to be talking about some things tonight about jetty fishing. But before we talk about jetty fishing, we got some other things to talk about. But welcome, Fishing with Connor. I don't know that we've met you guys or talked with you before, but welcome to a live stream. This is kind of what we do every other Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
We try to do a video and then a live stream, alternate. That's sustainable. Trying to make sustainable content over here.
Yeah. And I think jetty fishing is a good subject for this time of year because let's face it, it's going to get cold in the water soon.
Yeah.
So you're not going to want to do as much surf fishing.
We're going to jetty fishing. We'll get it.
So
there's M&K. M&K, welcome. Hope you guys are doing well. I know you guys were on I think you guys just hit 1,000 too. Working on your watch time. So
yes,
make sure you guys check out the other channels that pop in for the live stream. Make sure you do that because support each other, support the community. Is very important. That's part of how we got to where we are, I guess, a little bit because people support the community.
They were helping us and promoting us, and friends help friends.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, last Thursday, was it Thursday? Do you remember?
What are you asking about?
When it happened?
Oh,
was it Thursday or Friday?
No, I think it was over the weekend. Yeah.
Anyway, we went over 1,000. Subscribers last week. We'll say last week. Late last week, went over 1,000 subscribers, and we got the watch hours in. We were well over 4,000. We had the watch hours long before we had the subscribers. So I don't know. I think part of it was because we don't
have as many people subscribing, but they're watching.
Yeah, they come because of the boat the boat thing, the boat review, and then also some of the other stuff that we've done. But didn't turn them all into subscribers. So anyway, so we got that. So we are now fully monetized. So yay for our team, I guess. We're going to get
whatever that
happens, means. Yeah. I don't know, but we're kind of excited about it.
We'll get 2 cents a month.
My goal is to pay for the bait.
pay for the bait.
That's the goal. Pay for the bait.
Yeah.
If we can just have pay
but
for the bait.
But we have that new trap.
We did. We did have pinfish trap.
Yeah, I remember having somebody just sent us.
How about gas for the boat? Gas for the boat.
I've never used a pinfish trap. So
no, I don't know.
Somebody just donated it. So we'll try it.
Cool. We're gonna give it a try. Yeah. So let's see. Welcome, Fishing Texas Waters. Welcome. Watching with the family. Oh man, that's awesome. I'm glad you're joining us for that. Welcome, Saltwater Born. And let's see. Did somebody just give us money? Is that how that works?
I don't think so. I don't think somebody gave you money.
I don't know what that $5 means. Somebody tell me what the $5 means. Does that mean? I don't know. We're just learning. Obviously, we are professionals here. We know what's going on.
I think he's telling us we make $5 a month.
Maybe that's what it's $5. Oh no, he says it's a $5 gift.
Like you can send money on YouTube. I don't know anything.
We'll have to figure this out. So somebody gave $5 to. Well, thank you for that. That's really awesome. I appreciate that very much.
That's a whole pound of dead shrimp.
A pound of dead shrimp right there. That's good.
That's what we used last time.
Anyway, super chat. Yeah, well, I really appreciate that, MK. Thank you. We'll have to. We'll talk more.
I don't know what a super chat is.
I'm learning, Karen.
So does
I'm
that
learning
mean
all
if you
these
don't
things.
get any money, you're really bad at chatting?
I guess, I don't know.
So if you're really good,
But
I don't know.
anyway, at the beginning of this video, we just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for all of you that have supported us. Texas Beach Bum, Saltwater Born, MNK, Stanley Orchard's not here, but he's been a big part of this.
too.
A&J Outdoors has been another one. I mean,
Mhm.
I could probably just go through all of the I don't know, the people that have supported us along this, and there's been just a lot of support in the community, and it's been great, and I really appreciate that. It's encouraging, and so hopefully we can also encourage others. That's the next thing. That's the next step of this. So you guys that have encouraged us, really appreciate that, and we're going to do our best to pay it forward. Find other channels, encourage them, and help them grow, and do that.
Hopefully we can take a focus on the outdoors and the fishing and off of the political scene.
Oh yes. If anything, I would say that getting people's minds off of everything else. Maybe that's part of why this has been so good this year. Is people are looking for something else. They don't want to deal with all of that. I mean, there's just the stress, and so maybe there's a little escape. So if we provide that for you, happy to do it because it's a blast. At first, for those of you that don't know how the channel began, really my children, we wanted to get the children involved somehow. And some of them, they're kids. So sometimes, some days they like to fish, some days they like to complain and eat all the snacks. And that's just kids. And so we're trying to figure out a way to get them involved and show them the experiences that we had and make some memories and all of that. And that's really how it got started. And it just kind of grew from there.
Mm-hmm.
So we never, I don't know.
They wanted to help film, and it was exciting
pictures.
for them.
It was just exciting. So.
And you'd be surprised that you'd have a day where the kids whined all day and complained, but you took the video of them catching their fish, or they videoed us catching fish. All of a sudden, the next day, they were like, "That was the best trip ever!"
Yeah.
So they see the video and they think really good, happy thoughts. But we remember, what do you mean? You laid off the side of the boat going, "Nothing's biting."
Yeah. And so there was a lot of that. And so just family memories. So hopefully they remember the good stuff and forget about the bad
Literally,
stuff.
if there's no bites, my son Kyle will lay on the bench where the cooler is. He just lays out going, "That's it."
I can't. It's like the struggle is real.
Yes.
You see that? It's like no bites for 5 minutes.
No bites for 5 minutes.
The struggle is real. Anyway, okay. So again, thank you all. If those of you that are watching this later that aren't a part of the live stream, that's great. I mean, whatever. Just want to say thank you for all of you supporting the channel, getting it to where it is. We're going to get better. We're going to be hopefully making better content, catching better fish. I don't know. Sometimes the fish cooperate, sometimes they don't, but we're learning and just really enjoying. Just a big thank you. Leroy, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the live chat. And says that's why I've been subscribed for the family fishing. Been cool watching y'all grow. You know, it has. It's been a growth thing. The biggest thing for me has been the filming side of things. The fishing side, I know how to do. How do you make it so that you're telling a story while you're fishing? That's
actually hard to talk while you're fishing because when I'm fishing, I'm very focused.
Yeah, some of these channels,
I'm very focused, and I'm like trying to be relaxed and tell you what I'm doing because I really just want to get the fish.
Fishing with Connor says he's 10 years old. Tries to fish every day. Wow, 10 years old, fishing every day. That's the life, man. Hopefully you got like a pond in your backyard or something like that.
He's got his hook bent on a 10-pound bass.
10-pound bass, nice.
Well, did you bring it in? How would he know it was 10 pounds unless he brought it in?
I don't know. Anyway, it is hard. Texas Beach Bum, it is hard to tell a story in fish. And sometimes, like I said, the fish just don't want to cooperate with you. Or, man, the conditions. That's the other thing. It's like some of these channels that just go on there and they talk about stuff, they can write their scripts. They kind of know how to do it. But if you're playing outside in the elements, trying to, okay, we're going to go catch fish this weekend.
Yeah, then you throw your bobber out and it comes right back to you.
Yeah, it doesn't always work that way. So it's filming. And so some of those bigger channels, some of those guys that make it look so easy and so natural.
Or how about a day where all you catch is hard heads?
Yeah.
And then you get
Oh,
stabbed
speaking
with
of
like,
hard heads, I don't know if y'all
stabbed
can
with
see that. See that on my thumb? That little
Too much light.
Too much light. Yeah, I guess they can
It's
see
a
it.
little stab.
It's
now.
a little stab now, but the hard
But
head
his
got
hand
me.
was swollen like twice the size.
My hand. I got was down this weekend. We went fishing, and normally I take them off with pliers, and I try to be careful with handling them.
Normally I take off my own catfish.
And she came up and she was like,
and you were like, hey, let me get that off for you, baby. I'm like, all right, if you want.
So I grabbed it underneath the fins, and I got the hook out, and I'm getting ready to throw him back into the water. That sucker twisted right back around, stabbed me right in the side of the hand. It was bleeding. It was bleeding pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you get the whole shock up your arm of the
poison.
And my hand started swelling. I was like, oh, man, I'm going to have to go get a shot. But it was okay. I didn't have to get a shot, so we're good.
Yeah, I guess you're immune to the poison. Your hand was certainly swollen.
It hurt. It hurt. If you haven't been busted by a hard head.
I haven't.
You haven't?
0. I've gotten like 50 catfish off my line before. I don't know, in my lifetime. Hundreds maybe, but
well, if you're in the chat and you've been busted by a hard head, tell us your experience too, because man, I hate those things. I just hate those things. I mean, they just, ugh. Anyway, all right. Again, thank you all so much for subscribing, for the support. Really appreciate you all. But we wanted to bring value to the channel tonight. And so what I thought we'd talk about is jetty fishing, because that's how we got started. Those of you that have just recently found the channel, you may not know this.
Don't go look at our old videos.
There's some pretty. Talk about not knowing what you're doing. I went back and watched that. Anyway, it's good to laugh at yourself. But we got our start really jetty fishing. That was really where we started.
Like 1 minute videos.
We didn't do inshore fishing, so we didn't have a boat at the time. And so
occasional bass fishing, but
bass fishing.
We always forgot our cameras when we went over there.
Yeah, even though we would do ranch pond and stuff and tearing it up.
Yeah,
got no footage. No footage. But really, jetty fishing is where we got our chops. That was where we actually started. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about jetty fishing, because this is a good time of year to go jetty fishing, because you don't want to get wet in the water. The water's getting colder, and so jetties can do that. Let me catch up on the live chat here. So Connor, yeah, they do hurt. They hurt so bad. They really do. They're saying, Leroy says, you guys see all those big ugly caught goose pier this past weekend? I did see that online. I saw a whole bunch of them. They must be schooling up or something, because people were getting them left and right. They were just like hopping on the pier. They were just
throw a dead shrimp.
But a lot of them were oversized anyway, so they'd have to go back. But they're still fun. Texas Beach Bum, if I could figure out how to haul all my stuff out there, I'd jetty fish more, but it is a pain. That's the biggest thing, is getting your stuff out there. I got a backpack. That's one of the ways.
So we used to do the wagon, but Port Aransas jetties only has concrete to a certain point.
Yeah.
So if you want to go further, you're rock hopping.
Yeah, those of you that are in our area, the jetties we fish. Now, I fish at Fish Pass jetties, but I just don't go out on the jetty because I don't think I need to. I'm there. But then Packery and Port A. Those are we also South Padre. We do the Padre ones too.
Packery is the only one concrete all the way down. You can take a wagon.
Yeah.
But it doesn't go out as far. So the Port A one goes out a lot farther, and so does the South Padre Island jetties. Yeah. But it's quite a walk on the rocks.
Yeah. So that is the biggest thing. And we'll talk about it. Mark says, had to get it surgically removed. Oh, my goodness. Catfish.
Surgically?
Must have broken off, and they soaked my hand and soaked to dilute the poison. Ooh. Yeah, then you know. You know how it feels. Wow. Yikes. That hurts. And they say you only do that once. I've done it twice because I'm dumb. So I'm like, not doing that again. Fishing Test Explorer says, my son asked what type of gear you use, and are you all loyal to a brand? No, not so much loyal to a brand. There's a couple of things. There's a couple of brands that I think we've learned that really work, but we're not really sponsored. Actually, I shouldn't say we aren't sponsored. We do work with Saltwater Born Clothing. So if you see there in their live chat, Saltwater Born, if you're listening, I think I saw you guys join the chat. Put in your website there so people can click on that, because that's clothing. But as for gear, like fishing gear itself, we use Shimano reels and Penn reels. We found that they just work. They seem to last pretty good. And then we have a certain popping corks and things that we use that we found that work. But a lot of it comes down to the things that work. I'm not so much like a
certain brand of hook or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you have a particular type of gear that you want to know what we use, I'd be more than happy to tell you what works. So just let me know that, and we'll have to do that. I saw that with Team Hard Life. Oh yeah, wow, it hurts. Yeah, Leroy says my son hauls our gear with his wheelchair in our wagon we attach to it. Huh? Yeah, that would work. It depends on, I guess, if you're going out on, if you're not
as
going
long as they have concrete,
the concrete or something on top, like the Texas City Dike or something like that. I think. Yeah.
You just have to go to a point, and then you have
Texas Beach Bum said he stepped on one. Oh, stepped. And he said I had one go through my water shoe.
Oh.
He must have stepped on it. You know, that's another thing I probably should do more often is wear water shoes. We don't. And I probably should.
Yeah, I probably should.
Because stingrays and stuff too.
Yeah, I step on stuff.
Yeah. Anyway,
I just like
let's talk jetty fishing rigs. This is and actually, what kind of reel? Yeah, Fish Texas Waters. Yeah, sorry, ESPN notification on it, but I saw it. Looks apparently they were giving out rankings tonight for college football. Anyway, yeah, asking about kind of reels. Yeah, we use Penn's and Shimano's. Penn's Pursuits. I found Penn Pursuit works really well, and Shimano Sahara. Those are the ones that we use, and they do pretty good.
They have bigger ones too.
Yeah, I mean, you can get it depends on the series. Like if you're getting a 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 series, 6,000 series, that just depends on the size of that you're going to get on there. But I found those two brands work really well.
If you're surf fishing, you can just use a larger one. You don't have to shoot Shimano or whatever.
Yeah. So this is, speaking of brands, we are not sponsored, so that's why this video is not sponsored by anybody for fishing tackle. But this is one of the things that we have found that works really well. This is the 4 Horsemen popping cork. You'll see this if you watch our popping cork video. You'll hear this thing, popping cork. 4 Horsemen popping corks. They are expensive, but they do last, and they're really good. They're really good. So this is one of the rigs, and this is not to scale or size, but this is one of the rigs that we use if you're jetty fishing, and we're trying to keep it off the bottom. Use a popping cork with just a regular hook there.
As long as it's not too windy of the day and the current isn't too bad, this is best for kids.
Yeah, for kids, this one's really easy to use because you can see the cork. They can pop it every
now and again. And we would go like kids don't like to get up early, so we would go right around when the sun was setting. So right around the 6 p.m. hour and throw it out, and that's when the redfish seem to come around. Redfish,
we've caught mangrove snapper, black drum. I mean, we've caught just about everything on a popping cork. It's a very basic setup, but it does work. 4 Horsemen, we just found the sound. Part of the reason why we use a heavy popping cork like this one at the jetties because you need that sound over the waves. You need to be able to create those vibrations. So this is a very good setup, very easy for kids. I would recommend that one. Texas Beach Bum says Penn Battle 3s are awesome. Yeah, I've heard that. Again, Penn brand. Penns are really, really good.
He also said that the man of wars are all over the Fish Pass jetties. Yeah, we were there.
Oh yes, we did see them
last Friday, and they were there everywhere. They were. The kids were like, "We're not going to the water."
They're like poking at them, like, "Don't mess with them. They can still sting you even on the beach. Don't mess with them." Fishing Connor says stepped on a big sea snail in the Gulf on the day. That was miserable. Yeah, probably should. He said you should wear water shoes.
Did I tell you that they tried to save it and they put the man of war in a water bottle and filled the bottle with salt water and then was shaking it around, running around. We got a man of war.
Oh my goodness! You know the lemon rig. That's another one. The lemon rig I found is okay, and I didn't bring it with me, but I should have used the slip cork. I didn't bring the slip cork. Okay. If you ever, even better than the lemon rig is the slip cork, and I'll tell you why. Because you can set the depth easier with that slip cork. Leroy, happy Thanksgiving to you. Really appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by. But you can, just like crappie fishing, you can put that bobber stop on it, and you can very easily adjust that depth, and you don't have to work with so much. I think I did a video on a slip cork. You have to, I don't know, Jerry, maybe I'll have to link that. in a little bit. But that slip cork really does work well.
So you can change.
Leroy,
you
thanks
can
for
go
joining us.
deeper,
Really
can go
appreciate you, man.
more
Thanks
shallow.
for joining the chat and being with us. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Now this particular rig is one I didn't recommend. I have them. I used to use them. I don't use them anymore. You can see it. This is that dollar metal contraption. You guys see this is like, I don't know if you can see it. It's just got beads and snaps and stuff everywhere. I don't recommend these anymore. I used to use them. But I found that they're just not as effective. I think part of the reason why they're not as effective is because it's got so much metal on it and it's so much stuff that's just not natural. I mean, there's just so much mechanism in this. I think it's, yeah, I think.
Well, but also if you don't tie a leader line on this, usually you just put, a hook or whatever right on this, and there's not enough
there
for it to float away.
Yeah, so I don't recommend these. These are really cheap. If you don't know if you're just getting into beginner stuff, go ahead, get some Snell pre-made hooks and put them on the end there, put your weight on the end. At the jetties though, you will get snagged. You will lose a lot of these. You will lose a lot of them at the jetties because it's just a standard bottom rig, but I just find that they're just not as effective. I have them, I just don't use them. So there. And Texas Beach Bum says I have a whole bunch of them. I don't use them either. Yeah, no, I just don't use them. I don't even use them beach fishing. For that, I use this. Let me see. I've got it's tangled up here. Pardon the. Let's see this one. This is one that I use both beach fishing and you can use the jetties too. Let me show you what it is. Very simple dropper rig. We've got a snap, and all of this stuff I've got videos on. So if you're wondering how to tie it all, I've got videos on it there. But basically, you got a swivel at the top. You've got your weight on a snap, and you've got a dropper knot to your hook. And this is, you can do a double drop, so you have your weight kind of pulled down like that. See the weight there, and then it goes up. There's your hook line. And this goes up to your main line. This is a pretty standard bottom rig. Works really well. What I do when I tie this is you just make it as for the length that you need, and you can totally customize this if you want to further off the bottom. If you want to farther up, closer to, you can kind of do that. But this is one that's easy for kids to use too. Again, though, at the jetties you will get snagged. You will lose this rig. So pre-tie a whole bunch of them. Because you're going to need them because you will break off. You were talking about how you bring them in. Maybe you could tell them how you bring in these because you use these you use these more than I do at the jetties.
So I caught my biggest pompano on this rig and at the jetties actually. And the best thing to do is when you cast it out, if you're using shrimp or something, small pieces of shrimp, then you're going to get hit pretty quickly, hopefully by something good. But the most important thing is after you hook your fish, as you're reeling fast, you also want to reel high.
Yeah, keep it up high.
So normally when you're in a boat, you're keeping your rod pretty level. You're not doing
and
this.
And actually, I'm going to recommend this. Texas Beach Bum has some great drone footage of the jetties. And if you look at that, you can kind of see how far the rocks actually go out. People think that the rocks are in close, but they're not. They're actually
the rocks are farther than what you see. So you have the visible rocks.
Yeah, you're right, Jerry. Rubber band does work pretty good. Bobber stop, and it's cheaper. Yeah, you're right. That is true. That is true.
So as you're bringing in your fish, always we were telling kids, rod tip up, and you're reeling up. Because you're trying to avoid that weight. Because what you're doing is as you're bringing in the fish, you have the fish, but you also don't forget.
You got that weight.
You have this weight. So as you're reeling it in, it will get caught in between a rock that's deep that as you're reeling in, you're getting close. So keep that up. You want this to get off of the bottom.
And you've got to bring it up pretty high to get there.
So you keep that fish up
tall
high.
rods, 7-foot rods. They help a lot.
So it's hard for kids to bring them in at the jetties.
That's why the popping
until
cork.
They learn.
Yeah, that's why a popping cork.
And that's the reason the popping cork, it doesn't have that weight down there that's going to get caught. Like those pyramid weights are the worst. Getting caught right in between the rocks, and you're never getting it out. You're going to have to cut your line, and you will lose the fish.
Let me catch up with the Fish Test Waters, his son is asking, what is the strangest bait y'all have used? And it might be a good video. Yeah, that probably would be a good video. Strangest bait that we've ever used.
I don't know if we use very strange bait.
I still think silver spoons are weird. You're hurling chunks of metal out there.
Somehow
But that's not really a bait.
It's not.
I don't know. Let me think. I've used
sand.
Actually, I think. Oh man, they're not shrimp. Oh man, I can't.
Sand fleas?
No, they're not sand fleas either. They're kind of long, and I can't think of the name of them right now. They're long and they look like a shrimp type thing, but they're not. They're like a mantis looking sucker.
Live or?
Yeah, they're live. I can't think of what they're called though. They're ugly and they're nasty, and they bite. Actually, when I was living up north, I think the strangest bait that we use up there was the sand fleas. We use sand fleas. Squid, I think, as well. I don't know. That's a good.
A lot of people use squid. Sea lice.
Sea lice. I think it's weird that fish eat worms. I still think that's weird because when would they ever see a worm? And yet they love them. I don't know. I find that to be weird. Mantis shrimp. There you go. Yeah, mantis shrimp. Those things I don't like them. I think they're mean. But that's probably the weirdest one I've used. Ghost shrimp is another one. Yeah, use those. Big Al says, great channel. Appreciate that, Big Al. Thank you for that. He says, in San Antonio, my trip to Pins has to be carefully planned, tide and weather map to use. Tide and weather app. Yeah, that's a good question. And there's a couple of things I do recommend for that. The first one is, and again, not sponsored, so don't think I get paid for this kind of stuff. Oh, I would love to get paid for this kind of stuff, but I don't. Smartfishingtides.com. I'll give you a link for it in the chat. Let me pull that up. Smartfishingtides.com. Really good. And that'll help you with the weather and all of that. It has a lot of information. That's one of the first ones that I use. The other one I use on my phone, I use an app, and these are free. Anything that I'm telling you here is free. I use an app called Windy. It looks like that, Windy. And you can set your location, and you can see it's got maps, and it tells you wind direction and everything. So Windy.com, Windy, that app is really good. And Weather Underground is the other one I use. But that one, smartfishingtides.com. The great thing about that one is it really compiles a whole bunch of information on one site. You get your tides, you get your tide, how much the current's going to be moving there. You get the moon phases, you get everything, and you can actually look at maps too. They have Navtronics on there, so you can look at the maps. So I really would say that's the first place I stop when I'm planning a trip, and even as like a strike score index. So WeatherBug's another one's pretty good. Yeah, that's another one that people use. But yeah, that's what I use when I'm planning a trip. I use those. Okay, a couple more rigs. Most of you are going to know this one. I call it. It goes by different names. This is a fish finder rig. You see, I've got the circle, the slide weight there with the bead. People always ask me why you put a bead on there, and that's really just to protect your knot, because that weight will hit against that and rub it, and eventually it'll break. So that's the only purpose of that bead, is just to protect that knot. You have your swivel on there connected to your hook. And the nice thing about this, you can kind of see how it works. It goes down, the weight sits on the bottom, and your line just kind of, I know I'm off camera, your line kind of just floats out, and it allows that to kind of go naturally with the current. The nice thing about this too is it doesn't get hung up as much, but it's a good one. We use this one quite often. Fish finder rig is what we call it. It's very simple to rig up, very easy, very quick, easy for kids to use and cast. It's another part of what we do. So this is one that I do recommend. You still will get this weight snagged. It's going to happen.
Keep your rod tip up, bringing it in.
And we will lose a lot of it doing that. So I would, just keep it up when you're doing that. Let's see. Try using a spark plug instead of that weight. I have not even heard of that. I will have to look. Have you heard of spark plug instead of the weight?
How would you use a spark plug instead?
Are you talking about instead of this circle weight here? You're talking about using tie on a spark plug? Jerry, you have to let me know about that one because that's new for me. I've not heard that. Now you've got me curious.
And why? Is it cheaper or easier?
It's not one bit cheaper,
Okay.
unless you have a whole bunch of spark plugs lying around.
Maybe he's an auto mechanic and he does.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're
like old ones.
Fishing con in Florida about to have a rocket launch. Oh, that's fun. Haven't seen that. Haven't seen a rocket launch before. That's pretty fun. Yeah. All right. This one I'm gonna save my secret one for last. This one, just simply
Jig head. Your brain fart?
Yeah, it's late. I'm tired. I didn't sleep well last night. Got a jig head just attached to your line here, free lining just about. If it's a heavy enough jig head and it sits on the bottom, the biggest thing about a jig head when fishing at the jetties, make sure it sits flat on the bottom. Some of them you have that they're actually shaved here at the bottom and they sit because you want that hook up. You don't want it like this. You want that hook up. So I tie a loop knot to it. That gives it a little more action when it's coming through the water. You can feed your shrimp on, so it's just kind of moving through the water. You can use that with DOAs as well. I think most DOAs also come weighted. But this is a very easy way to do that. You can kind of see how that just sits there on my hand. Got to get it up higher. And it sits there and kind of rolls around. And this won't get snagged as much because you won't be able to if the current's running too much, you probably won't be able to get it as low.
Yeah, you may not even want to get it on the very bottom.
No.
Just get it close.
Just get it close. And but you can get different sizes, different weights for these. This one's I think this one's like maybe a quarter ounce.
Quarter ounce.
But you can get them bigger. And but this is still easy to use. Yeah, and free lining shrimp, things like that can be easily done. It just really depends on your current and your winds. Sometimes I put a split shot up here. Just to be able to get it down a little bit more in the water column. But one of the things you do want to do is fall naturally. You don't want to put too much weight on it so it goes down too quick. You want to kind of let it fall naturally. So that's another one that we use for free line jig head. Let's see, pompano rig. Yeah, we use a pompano rig. I don't use them at the jetties. The straight up pompano rig I don't use at the jetties. I use those beach fishing. We use pompano rigs with little floats on the hooks. Yeah. All right, y'all ready for the secret one? Y'all bass fishermen are gonna like this one. She caught her biggest flounder on this rig. And you'll be surprised when you see it. I'm kind of keeping it off camera right now. You'll probably be surprised when you see it and you might say that actually works. It does. It works really well. And it doesn't get hung up as much in the structure because of the way that it's actually made. So here it is. You guys have seen this before, right? That's a worm hook and a bullet weight.
Yeah, you'd think we were bass fishing or something.
You think you're bass fishing. You could attach a worm to that and be good to go. But you can also attach a shrimp to this. And this will fall. This weight was a bullet weight, so it'll fall through the water. And you'll get that shrimp up. And you can just pull it right through the water. And because it's a bullet weight, it's not going to get hung up as much on the rocks. You're going to be able to pull it right over that structure. It still will get snagged from time to time, but being it's a bullet weight, you can let some slack out and then slam it down, and it's easier to get this one off. But this is a pretty effective rig for really getting up near structure, and because it's just not going to get hung up as much.
Yeah. And the idea is when you toss it out, and you feel it kind of get close to the bottom.
You can feel the rocks too,
and then bounce it off, let it fall, bounce it, let it fall.
Just like you're a bass fisher.
Just like your bass
fishing.
And the flounder's like, oh,
flounder,
nice.
Mangrove, anything to eat shrimp. Because you're just bouncing this thing just right off the bottom. And flounder, especially this time of year, flounder, you have a lot of people flounder fishing. This is a great rig for flounder fishing. Gets you up right near the structure.
Because, of course, they're on the bottom and they're waiting for something to float
And so if you can imagine this weight's just coming, just like bass fishing, it's coming. And it's going to pull it and bounce. And this is just very easy. Toss it out and just work it back in. Live shrimp, even dead shrimp. Because you're using it. Rip off the tail, feed it on, let it come through the water naturally.
Feed it on like a worm.
Yeah, feed it on just like you would the worm. Let it sit right up in there and just bounce that thing along the bottom. And this rig picks up some good fish. And it's good worm hook too. So those are the rigs that we use for live bait.
For jetty fishing.
Yeah. Yes. He said spark plug used ones for the bottom fishing, jetty, slips over the rocks and casts like a bullet. So it's probably, Jerry, if I'm thinking right, it's probably a little bit like this rig that I just showed you, with the bullet weight and then the worm hook. It's probably pretty close to the same type of theory.
Yeah, you should upload a photo of what your rig looks like with a spark plug.
Yeah, I'll have to look for that. But anyway, this is kind of my secret rig. Get out real close to that structure. You're not really worried about getting snagged. You don't have so much hardware. Easy to tie. I mean, this is the easiest of all of the rigs that I have, maybe outside of the jig head. Quickest, easiest one to tie. You can adjust your weight if you want it to sink faster, slower. You can adjust all that, and depending on how much bullet weight you want on there. But yeah, definitely this is a good one. So get up right next to that structure, and cheap. You're talking very, very cheap rig. So if you lose this one, you're not crying too hard.
Well, I cry because I have to tie it again. Not because I lost it. I'm like, oh.
I will say that's something she does not like to do.
I'm gonna do it again.
Well, we're on the boat. I'm catching fish on a particular rig. She's got a different rig. I'm like, well, cut your rig off and retie.
Oh,
and she's like, no, I don't want to. I know she whines at me until I give her my rod, and then I think that's her strategy. I'll end up just giving her my rod, and then I'll go retie.
Not that time. You made me retie. Like,
Sometimes.
go get your own.
Go get your own. Got to retie. You know how to do it. Go get your own. But anyway, so that's some rigs. So if you guys, hopefully that was helpful for some of you that maybe jetty fishing is easy to get into, especially if you have one that has a pathway. If it's just rock hopping, that can be really hard. But
you forgot one very important thing.
What?
Don't go on a Saturday morning.
Oh my goodness.
Everybody's going to cast over your lines.
I know.
You're not going to have a good time.
You can avoid it.
And they're going to toss right over and you'll be like, sorry,
Yeah.
you're all tangled up. And
if you can avoid it, avoid Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
Really Saturdays at all. Really just don't go fishing on Saturday.
Just, yeah. Any of the days that the other people are not fishing is the best day.
Literally, this happened just this week. We went down and we were at Port A Jetty, and I looked out there. It was like ridiculous. It was 9 o'clock, and there were so many people. I was just like, how could there possibly be this many people that actually own fishing rods? Well,
everybody I could see all the way down was doing this.
Yeah, everybody's getting snagged. I mean, because that's the easiest place to go. So that's where a lot of people go. They go to the jetties. You don't know where to go? Go to the jetties. And man, it was just packed. I've never seen so many people.
So when we decided to go over to Fish Pass.
So now I just went beach fishing.
Where the kids were collecting man of wars.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, I'm not even messing with that. I'm going beach fishing. That was because, and then we were sitting there. I was literally pulling out my rods because I was thinking, okay, maybe if we can go down a little bit past the breakers or something, a little bit of a walk, but we'll go down there. And I saw like two guys. And if this was you, I'm sorry, but he cast out his line and just crossed about 6 people.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like,
you didn't know what he was
that's
doing.
when I just said no. At that point, I was just like, no, I can't do it. I just can't do it.
Like that guy didn't know how to cast. He went everywhere.
Just like, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but Fishing with Connor, thanks for joining us, man. Thanks, and good luck to you. 10 years old and loves fishing. That's awesome. So hopefully, if you have a fishing channel, we'll check it out. We'll check it out here. And the Reeds Outdoors, congratulations, welcome. Thanks, appreciate that very much. So Texas Beach Bum says that's why he says if we can get everyone, he's trying to say. Stop going to the jetties. Yeah, way too much people. So, oh my goodness, there were. I mean, there were just so many people. I was like, I can't believe this. I was like, that maybe during the week it's not as bad, but anyway. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you for your support for the channel. Hopefully you learned something tonight. And if you didn't learn something tonight, at least hopefully it didn't bore you too terribly bad. But thank you so much for your support. 1,000 subscribers, got the watch hour, got monetized. Big goal for us. We've only been doing this for a year, so we're still learning. Hopefully we'll continue to learn. And you can share those experiences with us. One of the things that we like to do is be as interactive as possible. So we try to respond to everybody's comments and interact with people as much as that we possibly can. So thank you all so much for the support. Thank you all so much for just being part of this community. I really do appreciate it. And happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And we'll release a new video next week. What's that one? That's boat. That's on the boat.
Okay. Yeah. With the kids?
With boat on the kids?
Yeah,
boat with kids. So first time at Aransas Pass fishing. So we'll release that next week. Until then, may you always catch and limit. We'll catch y'all soon.
And eat lots of turkey.
Oh, I need lots of turkey. Yeah.
Lots of turkeys, funerals.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. We'll talk to y'all soon.